Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host, and I am joined here, as always, by my co-host, Dan Welch. Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much, Adam. Another great night. We got some great matches tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited.
Excellent. So, let's get the housekeeping out of the way with first. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at AdamWX21. You can follow Dan on Twitter at, if I'm not mistaken, it was only our second episode. It's at Wandelch, W-A-N-D-E,
Wandel.
Wandelch, Wandelch.
Yep, you got it.
He's the master of following people that have cryptocurrency. So he's the master of Dogecoin Plus or whatever they're calling it now. Or wants to learn more about it. But anyway, enough of that.
There you
Dan,
go.
what are your thoughts from day one of ESL Pro League Season 13?
No big surprises, which well, I guess maybe OG was a little bit of a surprise, but it was obviously a possibility that they could win. And I think you even said that they were the upset spot. I went with FPX. Didn't work out, obviously, but I think it still can at some point. Maybe not tomorrow. I mean, I think they might win, but I was a little bummed. I was a little bummed when they didn't do well today, and they just got completely trounced. So
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the deal with FPX, right? Like, you and I called this yesterday. It was really your call, and I basically agreed with you that FPX was the upset spot against Complexity. We didn't really know how OG were going to look. Quite frankly, we didn't know if Nico was going to be there as their fifth player. Like, we didn't have that information prior to lock. At least, prior to the podcast, rather. Like, I didn't know if Nico, like, you and I didn't know if Nico was going to be there. Nico wasn't in the player pool. If you had told me, hey, Nico's still standing in for them, I would have probably been more inclined to say, yeah, I can see OG upsetting big if Nico's going to be there, but it's probably more of a long shot. Because, Nico's stand in. I know they want to sign him. They haven't got there yet. Like, there's a lot of precipitating factors behind that, right? So, today's slate, completely different. I'm pumped. I'm excited. My Captain Tabson bold prediction call. If I did go with that in my one entry in the aptly named CS:GO Clutch contest on Draftkings.
nice.
That's totally not where we got our name from. I just noticed that now. Um,
Yeah, we're looking at it right now, aren't we?
I like it.
Oh
Um,
man.
I went with Captain Tabson. So I had my lineup was Captain Tabson, Searson, which on map one on Overpass looked like it was gonna pay off in spades.
Yeah.
I didn't have any poison. I think you needed poison. I did have Cadian. I had Shush, and I also had JKS in config. So I went with a 2-2-2. Right idea, just some of the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
So, but today, a lot better slate because we don't just have three mega favorites, right? Like, we kind of figured Complexity would beat FPX, Heroic were going to beat Renegades, we thought Big were going to beat OG, but it was probably one of the more closer matches of the day. Today, we have much closer matches. We get Renegades versus FPX. That is where we're going to start off talking about this slate, and one thing that sticks out to me is how overpriced Zen is at 9,600.
Yeah, that's way too inflated.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
let's just take a look real quick at the odds because I'm really interested to see why, like, either the DK algorithm just really priced him up or if there's something that we're not seeing. So talk to me about Zen at 9,600 while the odds pull up here.
yeah, no, I'll just say it again. Like that's way too much. I mean, I think that Madden and Zen, Shaq and Kobe, can wreck. And I mean, I guess it could be good for DFS purposes, but it takes such a big piece of your bankroll for a limited ceiling.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'd
like,
like
let's
to
take a
see.
look at this, right? So, like, I'm going to catch you up. Let's take a look at this. Would you rather play Blame F against OG or would you rather play Zen against Renegades?
That's a tough one. I
Would you
mean, I'd
rather?
have to go. I'd have to go blame F just
Mm-hmm.
because of the consistency.
Would you rather play Searson against Heroic, or would you rather play Zen against Renegades?
That's another tough one, and I would probably go Searson. Actually, no, I take that back. I would go Zen.
You
Um,
have a couple of watermelons, sir. Um, I understand Searson led a lot. He didn't have a good showing against OG. I'm going right
nope.
back to the well on Searson. But
Yeah,
anyway, we'll get to that game when we do. But like, this is the range you're living in, and the decisions that that everyone has to make on this slate. Like, are you going to go blame F or Zen? Are you going to go Zen or Searson? Searson or Zen? If you want to play ins, are you going to play Zen or ins? Like which side of that game are you going to fall on? Poison's at 8,600. Config's at 7,600. Like, if you're going to go blame F and Poison, you're not going to be able to afford Zen, so you're going to have to go with a cheaper FPX deck. So, like, you're going to have to really make a decision how you want to go this because of how I think he's just extremely overpriced. He's at least $1,000 overpriced for me. But just like he's in a range where now there's a possibility because of that price that keeps his ownership down.
exactly.
But if one can argue Renegades is the weakest team in this entire Group A.
Um, yeah, I would agree with that.
And
I
I
think they
think,
got potential, but
yeah, and I mean Pinnacle kind of agrees in a manner of speaking. Fun Plus Phoenix they have as a minus 350 favorite. Okay,
oh wow.
so if you're somehow baiting Counter Strike, if you're watching this like in the UK and you can go bet on like a GG bet or a 1x bet or a Betway, or even here in the States, you want to go bet some Renegades at plus 271, yes please. That that line makes absolutely no sense to me. Um, I understand Renegades don't have Dexter anymore and they're not as good, but I'll go put like that's I'll take Renegades at plus 271. So I understand Fun Plus Phoenix are really, really good, but I think Renegades, and for what it's worth, I'm just going to say this now. My pick in this game is I'm picking Renegades to upset Fun Plus Phoenix. So, which is why I really like the plus 271 line. But Fun Plus Phoenix minus 350 is the highest favorite on the slate. Complexity or minus 202 favorite against OG. Big, surprisingly, our minus 123 favorite over Heroic, which are a plus 102. It's almost a little bit more of a push in that game. So, like, when you see these odds, do you agree or disagree?
Do I just agree with the lines themselves, or do I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you?
Oh no. Do you agree with the
Um,
lines themselves? Like
yeah, I can't.
in terms of who Pinnacle think are going to win the game or the games.
Um, I mean, yeah, for the most part, except for Big, I don't think Big will win. I think something's wrong there, but they can't take. I mean, they can't use that eye test, and that's probably some poor logic for DFS. But that's just how I see it. And I mean, I like the Renegades line just because I would, I'm in the same boat as you, and I would definitely bet that line.
Right, and I mean like you and I think we're kind of talking a little bit about a pre-show. Is that this is probably going to be the weakest opponent that's not, one of the weaker opponents they're going to face. Because let's face it, Complexity, OG, Big, and Heroic are very strong. Fun plus Phoenix, the jury's still out on. So,
Yeah,
like, this is their chance to do damage against a team. I don't think, again, I'm picking Renegades to win. I think it's going to be the only time that they're going to win in Group A. So I think this is the spot where if we want to play them in DFS, and that brings us back to our main slate here, I personally am going to go with a Renegade stack. As of right now, I haven't 100% made my decision. I'm leaning more towards like an Inns, a Hat, maybe a Malta. Uh, that's just more where I'm going. I'm not playing Sicko. I respect Farlig way too much. Like, he's a
yeah.
really good opper. And Farlig, I also don't mind as a one-off at 8,000.
No, no. I mean, that's a good price for Farley.
Your boy Farlig. I'm just gonna start calling him
A
your boy
boy.
with how very very excited you were to play him yesterday. Um, but no no no
Yeah,
no
that was
it wasn't a bad call though. Like again
no,
like
I know.
you and I both thought that FPX had a legitimate chance to upset Complexity.
Yeah.
So we were just neither one of us were on OG, but that's besides the point. What do you make of this Sticko price at 6,600?
I'd do it. I think they're probably going to end up with some favorable maps for Stico, and maybe even unfavorable for Farlig, which is probably why I'm going to stay away from Farlig tomorrow.
Oh, that's
I think I was
that's
convinced.
it's an interesting
What's that?
call. I like it. It's an interesting call.
Yeah, I'm a map chaser, Adam. I know that's not it's not a great strategy for DFS, but I can't help but try to predict the maps, and then therefore try to predict who might perform well. And Stiegel looked good today. He was I think he was opping a little bit too on I guess on Dust too, but for 6,600, yeah, 100%. I might be worried about his ownership being a little bit high because of that price, but I mean, I think others might be gravitated towards the other FPX guys.
Yeah. So I think for what it's worth, I me personally, I don't think a lot of exposure on the slate is going to come from Renegades, and I think second to that is going to be FPX. I think people are going to look at OG Complexity and Heroic and Big, and they might be taking stands on certain teams or diversifying their lineups. If this game goes off, like let's say, for example, Renegades sweep FPX 2-0, Ins goes off, and a Hats or a Malta or someone else just goes
Yep.
off, right? You will need them on your lineups at what, maybe sub 10% ownership for some of these guys. Like, I don't think Ins comes in at sub 10% because people know who he is. He's the best player on Renegades. But, like, I really think this game could be a difference maker on what side of the game you fall on to win a GPP tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure people are going to be on FPX. I don't
Oh,
know why you wouldn't be.
absolutely. I mean, again,
Yeah,
just by looking at the odds, they're what? They're a minus 350 favorite. People are going to be all over FPX, which is why I think Renegades are a great leverage spot. Probably the best leverage spot on the slate, considering who the last two games. I think Renegades are probably the best spot against the biggest favorite. And that's pretty much it. And any final thoughts on this game?
I mean, one strategy I've used too in the past is, I mean, it's hard with only a 3 game slate, but is to just fade the upset spot and hope that it happens. And then I don't have any exposure to the chalk, which I mean that's I'm sure most people do that, but I don't think that that's a good option here. I think you do have to play, um, you know, either side
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
For me, like on a 3 game slate, I typically lean more towards a 2-2-2 construction. I
Yeah,
don't mind a 3-2-1 construction. I mean, like, if you look at today's games, after the Heroic game, you probably needed 3 of those guys to win, plus Poison, with how
yeah,
nuts Heroic were going off. It looked like you maybe needed Cadian, looked like you needed Tessus, looked like you needed Shush for a while. Like, Stown you might have needed. Like, but again, price matters, points matter, all that stuff matters. What also
yeah.
matters is our second game here on this 3 game slate, OG versus Complexity. The Nico takes the shot right into OG's thigh, looking OG.
Yeah.
He looked unstoppable on overpass. He looked so good. Uh, Talk to me about OG, because Nico's only 6,000, Valde's 7,400, Montu 68. Talk to me about OG.
Well, actually, I mean, I think this might be a good bring back maybe game stack situation. In my you know my opinion, I think they're going to probably get a little Mirage and Dust 2, which are both good for either side opper. But
Oh, I
yeah, and I
definitely
did.
think we see Mirage. Both of these teams love to play Mirage.
Yeah, and as you know, that's a good, that's a playground for oppers. So poison, I mean, I normally play poison. I didn't today, which really stung me. I'm still kind of hurt from that, but
In one
either poison.
lineup, and I gotta tell you, in one lineup, I never considered Poison because of how he was priced yesterday.
Mm,
It was very difficult because, again, Cadian was 10,000, Stalin was 9,000, Searson was in the 9,000s. There were other guys that I just wanted to get to, and, Poison did what he did. He had a ceiling day.
yeah, I
Continue.
think. Yeah, I mean, I might go to that well. I think it could happen again. No, I mean, I hate to chase because I hate to be like, oh yeah, it's definitely gonna happen again, and then it doesn't, But sometimes you gotta stick with red,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess maybe the better leverage play would be a man too, because OG looked pretty phenomenal, especially Nico. I mean, Nico's 100% an upgrade from NBK. I mean, granted, they've got to find some time to fit him in and for him to get acclimated, but um, I think it's a good. I think it's a good. It was a good move.
So, friendly reminder to
Hmm?
everyone listening out there: Nico is not signed to OG. OG have
Mm,
made it known they want to sign him. They haven't signed him yet. He is still just a stand-in. Just keep that in mind. Nico is just a stand-in. He is not signed to the OG roster. My guess is by the time ESL Pro League is over, they'll work something out and he'll be signed to the roster. He looks like he fits right in.
yeah, yeah,
And, Valde kind of mentioned this, I believe, during his interview with Frankie, is that Valde and Nico used to play together on a team back in the day. So Valde knows what Nico can bring to this team. So, let's keep that in mind. So, there's already a connection there. And, Issa looked
yep,
good today on Nuke. He finally saw that he's turning it on. Alexi B was going off. So, Issa and Alexi B are sub 5,000. And I think are firmly in play on this slate. I'm gonna get
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get my bold call with out of the way with right now. Alright?
Let's hear it.
Captain Nico's gonna win someone a GPP tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. That's it's definitely possible.
And Thursday, OG versus Heroic. Nico revenge game. Has
Nice.
absolutely no bearing in DFS whatsoever, but it's just cool to say. And for what it's worth, I don't think it's a revenge spot. Heroic did what was best for the team. Nico needed a change. He was not doing anywhere near what he needed to. The team moved on. It looks like he's gonna. If he stays in OG, I think he's just gonna flourish. I really, really
Mhm.
do, and that could help OG get into the top 10. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so so now with that being said, and all that hoopla out of the way with, um, if I'm not playing Renegades, I'm playing OG to upset complexity. The more I talk about it, the more I listen to you, the more I think about it, the more I kind of want to go double upset and play Renegades and OG.
Interesting.
I am not opposed to going Captain Nico because let's just make a dummy lineup real quick. If I go Captain Nico at 9,000, right? I have 8,200 a player. I can get, if I want to play OG, so I'm going to play pairing with Valde. If I want to play, let's just say FPX guys. So let's go Zen. No. Flex. Let's go Zen. Let's just go Madden. I still have 8,400 left. Let's go to the last game. Let's get some. Let's get some heroic. Let's get some Cadian and Stown. I have 3,400 left over.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. So I mean, like, I'm not advocating for everyone to go play Captain Nico, but at $9,000 in the captain spot with how good he looked from the eye test today, I think he has a good shot to really. He opens up the rest of your lineup. Like if you wanted to, and let's just say you wanted to run this back with it, I could go back here and I could play. I could run it back with it. I could play the two opposite. I could run it back with a Searson. I can play a Poison. I can play a Shush if you wanted to go and pay up the insane price tag that is Shush. We'll get to that in the next game. But like, you can do a lot if you have Nico in the captain spot. I'm just saying. So bold prediction: Captain Nico is going to win someone a GPP.
Love it.
Captain Tapson, like I said, was looking good through map 1, and then he hit nuke, and then I have no idea what happened on map 3.
Dude, I was pulling for you. I really wanted that to work out.
I didn't have poison.
Mostly because mine didn't.
I didn't have any poison. So like I said, like where
Yeah.
poison's price tag was, again, coming back from this time off due to medical reasons, or some emergency surgery he needed to have, or whatever was going on medical, coming back, getting reacclimated to the team, playing with JKS. Complexity, if this team can go, this team can go. So like,
yeah,
money's definitely on complexity, hands down. If you want to go 2 to 3 man complexity stacks, I love it. No problem. I'm talking myself into playing OG. I don't want to play OG, but I'm talking myself into playing some OG. Let's get to the last game here on the slate. And we thank every one of you guys for listening to this this podcast. We wanted to just do us a favor, right? Like, we're a new podcast, and like, here's the thing with CSGO DFS, right? Like, we're going to record these usually in the evening. We're going to try having them up for you guys as soon as possible. Hit that subscribe button there. That way there, and you make sure you have your notifications turned on. You'll be notified when a new video drops. That way there, you have the info as soon as possible to help you guys make the best lineups possible and to get all the info that you need. Dan, any objections to that? Like, if that's definitely the right thing to do, right? Especially with such a time-sensitive DFS sport and when we're getting these videos out and everything. Thoughts? They gotta subscribe, right? We need to subscribe?
No, yeah, definitely subscribe, please. The support also keeps us motivated as well. It's hard to share. It's hard to share these YouTube videos and all these Discord channels and hope that someone opens it. So if you're subscribed and you can get to it when you have time, then that's obviously ideal. So,
yeah, and again, like,
I'm with you.
We're just two guys who love Counter-Strike, love DFS Counter-Strike, and we just want to chit-chat about it, and we want to get you guys the best information possible. And this podcast is only going to get better and better. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment. And Dan, let's head into the last game here on this slate. Heroic versus Big Clan. This is going to be for me, the game to watch on this slate. Well, it's not the two best teams in this group. It's 2 of the 3. And I think Big are going to have something to prove coming back from that loss to OG today. Talk to me about this game. And let's first talk about why Shush is ridiculously overpriced, Cadian is ridiculously underpriced, Testis is hilariously underpriced. I'm sorry, Refresh is hilariously underpriced, and Testis is underpriced. All of Heroic are underpriced. Buy. It's like cryptocurrency. Buy all the Heroic on this slate.
Yeah, actually, my one of my coins just shot up, so maybe it is time to buy low.
Dogecoin on the rise.
I mean, I'm a little bit worried for Big in general, but that's just my narrative, and no one else has to buy into that. But I'm also, Heroic looked good today. They got 2 new guys. Refresh is not really. I mean, I don't think that's the why he's so cheap. But
he shouldn't be this cheap. He's too talented to be this cheap.
Yeah.
He should be in the 7,000s. If you want to put him in the high 6,000s, fine. This kid has got way too much talent to be $4,400. In my opinion, he is going to be one of, if not the chalkiest play on the slate. Let me tell you why, and I'm just going to get this out of the way. Let me tell you why I am going to either fade or go extremely underrated and refresh. If you watched any of the analyst desks today when they were talking about Heroic, Pimp on the analyst desk was talking about how Refresh looked with this team, how he was underperforming, he was underfragging. Again, it's been 6 maps. He's only been with this team since the DreamHack qualifiers. Heroic, Refresh, stats. Let's take a look at them online over the last month of play. He has 6 maps with Heroic. He has
What's the
a
KD ratio?
kill to death ratio. He's got a 0.8 kill to death ratio.
Yeah.
He's got 57.3 ADR. That is so bad.
Oof.
He's got a 0.5 KPR, which is kills per round. He's got a 0.69 impact rating, 0.89 rating overall. This is a kid who is super talented. He's 4,400 and thank you HLTV. Love the website. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, look at the stats against this Bulgarian team, and I understand. Let's give them their due. They did really well, and they did a lot of upsets in the DreamHack qualifiers. He was minus 12 against Cloud9, minus 10 against Renegades. Again, arguably the weakest of any of the teams in this group. Well, Group A. He was only plus 2. He is someone that, if you're looking at the stats and you look from the eye test of how he's fitting in with this team right now, he is someone I want to fade or go really underweight on an MME. Talk to me about it, because this stands out to me as huge leverage on someone who's probably going to be ridiculous chalk on this slate.
Yeah, I agree with the chalkiness, just because people, they're not uninformed, and they've seen him play and score in the past and frag in the past. And it almost seems like a free square too, where it's like it's so cheap that, I mean, all he has to do is go even just go even and get 30 or 40 DK points, and that's all you'd ask for. I mean, that's good enough. And then he does have the potential to go even higher, especially on a team like Heroic. But from a DFS perspective, he's a bad play. I agree with you, with that 100%. I will fade him as well, because I think there are some other cheap options that will go overlooked. Tizian's still cheap. Alexi B is cheaper than Refresh, I think.
Yeah, so like Alexi B is the cheapest on the slate at 4,200. Malta, if you're getting funky with your Renegades lineups, to me on that first map versus Heroic, he looked decent to good, and at 4,600, I mean, I need players to crush to win a GPP, but like I don't mind some Malta in FPX lineups. Sunny's 5,000. Rush is 5,400. Rush had a really good outing today. Issa's 4,800. Tessus is 5,600. Like again, Nico's 6,000. Yeah, so like there were a lot of other cheap options that I'm a GPP player. I have more of a GPP mindset. I like finding the different leverage players. I like trying to find different spots to get different and cute. I wouldn't mind playing Alexi B and OG stacks. I mean, we know Alexi B can have good ceiling maps or ceiling games. At 4,200, if he has one of those against complexity, let's go. So basically, all we're saying is be
like
careful on your exposure to Refresh, purely based on stats and the eye test, nothing to do with his talent. At 4,400, if Refresh was doing what he was doing on Mad Lions and how we were playing him before and on the other teams we were playing him on, I'd be almost lock button on Refresh for every Heroic stack that I would have. And I would mix the other 4 with Refresh at 4,400. But for me, it's the eye test, and it's the stats. Again, minus 12 against a team I've never heard of before. That, again, upset a lot of good teams in the DreamHack qualifier. I understand that. Against Cloud9, he was minus 10, and against Renegades, only +2. That just kind of sticks out to me as a leverage spot off some of the chalk and get different with some other ones. That's all I'm saying. So let's finish up this game here. What else do you got in heroic versus big?
Stown is way underpriced.
Agreed.
I would probably lock Stown.
He's
Um,
he's
I mean,
hilariously underpriced. This
yeah,
again, this is a guy
he
we were
looked good
running about
today.
playing at what in the high 9,000 range the day prior, and
Yeah.
we were talking yesterday about uh going under. At least I was talking about going underweight to fading down on that slate because of how overpriced he. Well, not overpriced, but like his recent form and everything else. But 6,400 is laughable. And if we get another performance out of him like he had today against Renegades, 6,400 he's going to pay off very quickly, and he is going to crush. Cadian at 7,000 also was just hilariously underpriced. This guy
Mm-hmm.
was 10,000 on the last slate against Renegades. I will say this: Shush being 8,200, he is a support role. Okay, and if you don't play CS:GO much, so like these pro teams, you have like your uppers, your lurkers, your anchors, your supports, your IGLs. You have all these different guys. So Cadian's still the IGL for heroic. Shush is taking over that bore up support role. This is a guy who can also frag. Right? And not saying Borup can't frag. Shush is a higher fragger. When he was at Mad Lions, right? Like, take yourself back to 2020. Shush is on Mad Lions. Mad Lions are on the slate. He was one of the three really we wanted to target. It was Shush, A-Core, and like maybe a Roje. Right? Like he was one of the
Brazilian.
ones we wanted to target. 8,200, I don't think he's going to be that highly owned. If you want to get cute, or at least maybe to get some leverage, Shush at 8,200, like I said, I don't think is going to be highly owned.
I think it's a good call. I probably won't do it. Because I think it is a little bit too much for my taste in Counter Strike.
And again, like
DFS.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like
But
that's why
no,
we're
I
here.
agree. Yeah. Yeah.
We're here to give everyone the takes. Like you get your takes, I get my takes, and that way, everyone gets a little bit of something. They get to hear the different sides and some logic and reasoning behind it. Is the reason you don't want to play Shush pretty much because of the role and the price?
Yeah. I mean, I've been burned too many times with those kind of plays where, and I'm an SE single entry guy, so I'm not trying to be too clever.
You're not trying to beat out a 2,000 plus person field.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just going for the single entry.
I like it.
What's the optimal outcome for me? And Shoosh would not fit into that. I mean, he definitely fits into a GPP play for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Shush for a single entry, but if you're taking
Yeah.
and playing in a large field GPP, I think Shush definitely makes for some great leverage. That gets us in to our core value, GPP, team stacks, and bold predictions. Dan, give me one core, one value, one GPP play.
Core play. I'm going to go with Poison. I'm not sure what the surgery was, but maybe it helped.
I think it was some like
Value.
emergency medical procedure.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like carpal
No,
tunnel or anything.
no, this was like something that like he needed to be pulled from the team and like it was like some sort of emergency procedure. That's about all we know. I'm just
Okay.
happy to see him back and he looks good. Well, he looks okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't like
Hell
seeing
yeah.
anyone in pain or anything else. Like we don't know what it was, and raising a glass to Poison. I'm glad to see him back to 100% health, and he looks like he's having a blast. So Poison for you against OG. I like it. Being ballsy against Mantu. I like it. Give me a value play.
Yeah. Yeah. Value player. I'm gonna go with. Can you scroll down? I think I might have changed my mind.
You're not
A
allowed to
little bit
change your
further.
mind. I'm kidding.
A little bit further.
What do you got?
I was gonna go Tessus, but then I started thinking. I mean, he might actually be a core play, not even just value.
I like it. So
Um,
two core plays out of you. So you like Poison, and you like Tessus. I like it.
yeah. And value, I'm actually gonna go. Oh man, I'm so torn right now between it. I gotta go Issa. I mean,
Okay,
that's my boy. He always comes through.
I
You know,
like it.
even if it's even if it's 50 points, like that's enough.
I like it.
40 points.
Give me a
Um,
give me a GPP play.
GPP. I am going to go with Xantares.
Okay, Centaurus 8400. I like it. Cool.
He's
All right.
got the ceiling. He's got the potential. You
Yeah,
know, he's
hundred
gonna get
percent,
overlooked.
100%. All right. Core play for me on this slate. Um, all right. I'm also kind of torn. I'm between right now Cadian because 7,000 versus Big. I understand it's versus Searson, but there's really no excuse for that. Um, who else was I on? Do do do. Blame F slash config. I mean, Blame F is just in a great spot. If he starts fragging like crazy again, you want to play him every slate. So give me Blame F as my second core play, and Cadian as my other. Value play for me on this slate. I like Alexi B, believe it or not, especially if they're both going to play Mirage. I really like Alexi B. Refresh is an obvious value play. I also, for what it's worth, I don't mind Malter at 4,600 and Renegade stacks only. But yeah, like the obvious value play on this slate that sticks out is Testis at 5,600. There's no excuse for that. Um, but that's fine. We'll take advantage of
Yeah.
that. And Stown at 6,400, obvious value play as well. GPP play for me. I'm doing it, dude. Shush at 8,200 is my GPP play.
I like it.
All right. Team stacks, just by team name. Give me one
Team
team
name
stack you
only.
like. So like, do you like FPX stacks? Do you like complexity stacks? Do you like heroic stacks? Give me a team stack that you like for tomorrow's slate.
All of them.
I like it. Basically,
I'm
folks, play
being
all
dead
6
serious.
teams.
I
Play.
mean, you could make you can make an argument for any of these guys, any of these teams, and I think that's why this is such a good slate. Is that there's
Give
a
me
lot
your
of not
favorite.
necessarily my favorite. My favorite is probably gonna. I gotta go with FPX. I just and I hate to do it because I know they're gonna be so chalky, but you know whatever. Chalk isn't that bad.
All right, so Dan
Uh,
likes FPX on this slate. Um, I like heroic on this slate. I really do. They're my favorite stack. Big. I mean, I didn't get a chance to see any of Map 3, but Big looked like they were falling apart on Nuke.
yeah.
They looked like they were struggling, which is interesting because that was their map pick. For what it's worth, I've said it several times now on this podcast. I like OG as a leverage stack on this slate against complexity. If you were to tell me complexity versus OG, I'm probably going to say 8 out of 10 times complexity are winning. I think OG are definitely a good leverage stack on this slate. All right. I gave my bold prediction earlier. Give me a bold prediction on this slate.
Oh man. I am gonna go with, and then this just completely is contradictory, but I guess it makes sense. Is that Hats is the top fragger of
On the
the
slate?
entire day?
Oh,
Yes,
that's bold, sir. That's
that is very
bold.
bold.
That is very
And
bold.
I
He's
would
not.
not
He is
put
not
too much into
Zywu.
that.
He is not Zywu. But I like it. That is a very bold prediction. And like I said,
Thank
my
you.
bold prediction, I think Captain Nico is going to win someone a GPP on the slate. I really do. I mean, he's only 6,000 in the flex. He's 9,000 at captain. You know, you saw it earlier when we were going over that game. You can do a lot with your lineups if you have him in captain. But I would not play him by himself. I would absolutely make sure you play him in an OG stack only. Like, if you want a one-off Nico in a flex spot, that's fine. But if you're captaining him, make sure you get at least one other OG member with him. Dan, final
Yeah.
thoughts on this slate before we head on out of here?
Yeah, I'm just really excited. I think it's going to be a good day. Hopefully I'll get some work done at the same time though while I'm watching.
Means you're always getting
Um,
work done in the background, right, Dan?
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I have employees. I just tell them what to do while I'm watching counters. Oh shit! I hope my boss isn't listening to this, which she's probably not.
Nah, they're not listening, and that's only a joke anyway. But anyway,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, I'm kidding.
in all seriousness, focus on work first, Counter Strike second. With
There you
that
go.
being said, enjoy the Counter Strike tomorrow. Enjoy the games. We hope everyone out there. We hope if one of us don't, win some money tomorrow, we want one of you guys out there listening, or multiple of you, go out there, win money, win all the GPPs. Good luck on the slate. Latest, peoples.
Thanks, Adam.